Alright guys, I'm sorry. 1,000 pardons. I know, and I'm serious. It's been a while since we uploaded a podcast, but we're back with an all brand new episode, brand new guest as well, Mr. Michael Robles. He's been training martial arts since he was a child. He has his own martial arts studio, so if you want to get your kids involved in martial arts, or you yourself want to get involved, this is definitely the podcast for you. Or, if you think it's a terrible idea for you or your children to be involved in martial arts, this is absolutely the podcast for you. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about a lot of fun and interesting things in regards to ballerinas' feet, in regards to martial arts, and in regards to the fact that martial arts for kids is less dangerous than bowling. Why do I have all these martial arts people on? Because they learn things in their training that we can apply to our daily lives that are extremely helpful. So stay tuned, get to know my good friend Mr. Michael Robles with me, and as always, thanks so much for coming along. My name's Stuart, this is my friend Michael, and this is the Not Your Mother's Podcast.
Cheers.
Cheers. So a couple things very, very fun to start off with, because this is my, I gotta think about it, this is my like 6th or 7th episode, so for every episode I get to say something about each guest. It's like, oh, this is the first, whatever, because I'm so brand new in this, everything's the first. So this is the first time, for two things. I think this is the most short notice anyone's ever been given to be on the podcast, because I want to say it was yesterday. It was yesterday. I was like, hey, Michael, I need you on my podcast. Like, okay, when? I said, well, how about tonight or tomorrow? Well, how about tomorrow? Perfect. So thank you for being available on such short notice.
I like the role.
Hell yeah. I'm about it. It's great. It's great. And I'm not knocking any of my other guests, because it is possible that someone was that last minute and I just don't remember it, because I've been doing this for a month or two now. That's the first thing. That's the first. The second first is I'm drinking Crystal Light with water, and Michael's drinking water, and there's no whiskey on this podcast. So yay for us for not drinking whiskey for once. I won't get into that too much, but we have our reasons, and you should too. So Michael, I have met, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago is the first time I met you.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that's been the intro for pretty much, except for one guest and my mother, that's been the intro for everyone on the pod. I met you a couple years ago, because I haven't been out here that long.
Yeah.
And the first time I met you, I always try to tell that story a little bit. The first time I met Michael, I was definitely in a different place than I am now. No drinking, even though I'm not drinking tonight. No drinking, no cursing, none of the fun stuff, as you might say. So I wanted to talk to that just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the first time you met me, it was via a family member.
Yes.
An in-law, I think it was. And what did he say to you when you were going to see me or meet me?
I think it was actually at your work.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, Michael. Well, every time someone introduces me, they're always like, they have to tell everyone else.
Prep.
Yeah, they have to prep everyone else. Like,
Michael's coming,
yeah,
so.
Just be aware, this dude's coming and he's kind of an asshole. So he was like, hey, you know, like, he's like kind of super religious, and you can't really cuss around him.
That's awesome.
And he doesn't drink. And like, my thing is, like, every time I meet a dude, I'm like, hey, you want to go have a drink?
Hell yeah.
You know, and then, you know, he's like, you can't cuss, and I was like, fuck that, I can't cuss. And he's like, are you gonna cuss? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna cuss. Fuck this guy. Like, and I mean, I thought you were super cool, but I was just like, dude, I'm not changing who I am for you.
No.
Yeah, so I was like, I was like, fuck that. No, I'm gonna cuss and, you know, have fun and shit. So.
And I do vaguely recall, yeah, we talked about some things that were of a sordid nature. I remember that now. Yeah. That was great. It was good.
Oh, I like the shock factor. So I was just, I was dropping stuff, and you could see his face like, holy shit,
okay,
this
well,
dude's
we're gonna
on
go
another
with
level.
this.
He took it well, though. He took it well.
I appreciate that, and that's what a couple guests have said in the past. Just like, you know, obviously, like I was religious or like had these beliefs, but there wasn't quite a stick up my ass as much as they thought there was gonna be.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I was willing to believe there was a stick up, and I was like, fuck it, I'll see if I can push it up more, or at least pull it out.
Make some adjustments.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the stick
exactly.
in the ass.
I don't care.
I like it. I like it. So that's a fun story. And Michael has, I don't know for how long we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
He has, it says on his shirt here, Final Strike Martial Arts. So he has a martial arts, I would call it a studio. Is that the right term?
Yes.
He has a martial arts studio. And we'll get into all the facets of that, what you do, how everything works, your clientele. But first I want to find out, what on earth got you started in martial arts? What was the catalyst, or what was it that pushed you into that world?
Ninja Turtles.
All right, hell yeah.
You know, I'm a kid of the, you know, late 80s, early 90s.
But you didn't start at Papa John's, you went the other direction.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I got
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, basically, you know, I was 7, 8 years old wanted to do martial arts because I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And I was really heartbroken when I found out I couldn't be a turtle.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
That's
I know. I was
bummer,
like, fuck, damn it. But, you know, I could be a ninja. And
I
so,
like it.
yeah, so basically, to make a long story short, my doctor wouldn't let me. They thought I had a heart condition.
Really?
And I had a whole bunch of things that fit that, and basically, at some point, my mom said, okay, my kid is on the sofa all the time, and you're saying that, he, you know, it's a possibility that...
Can't be active.
Yeah, but is he really living a life?
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so...
That's super interesting.
Yeah, so my mom basically one day was like, screw you doctors, and I'm gonna, you know, let him live a life, whatever may happen.
That's awesome.
So, sign me up in 1993.
Okay.
And so I was about 8 years old,
Gotcha.
and it's...
Just like karate?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so, yeah, basically went from there. I remember my first class.
No way.
I remember my mom picking me up from school and walking.
You had your outfit already?
Oh no.
Okay.
So I'm walking down, you know, walking in the school, you know, from school.
Yep.
And going towards my mom's minivan, and I remember the lines in the concrete. It's like those moments in time.
Yes, just everything's crystal clear.
Crystal clear.
Got it.
And so, you know, when something like that happens in your life that it has now become, it sticks with you. And so I clearly remember being a kid, 8 years old, lying in the concrete, stepping over it, and my mom saying, hey, you know what we're going to do today? And I'm like, no, I'm just jumping over the concrete. I'm, you know, every line I'm avoiding it. Yeah, step on the crack, break your mama's back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, she's right there.
And so, you know, she says, you know, we're going to take you to karate. You know, which later on we found out it was taekwondo. So, which is cool. You know,
all us white people call it karate.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. So, and she, you know, immediately I was excited.
Oh yeah.
And I can still remember, like I said, I wore purple baseball warm-up sweats.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I can like see it in my mind.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm seeing you visualize.
Yeah,
right
I was
now,
like,
dude.
it's like you know, like
it.
early '90s, freaking purple sweats. With the elastic around the ankle.
Had to be.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't cool enough to own those, but I saw it.
Yeah. It was like, oh, those are cool.
Those are the cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was a badass. I was
you
like,
had
putting
to.
on my sweats and shit.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I wore those to class, and I remember.
So you wore those all day.
Well, it's funny because all day at school, wore those to my first day, and they give you a uniform and stuff. But I mean, I remember the first girl that I saw, the first student that I saw, when I walked into the studio.
Everything about
I remember everything.
It's
a critical moment in my life.
Yep.
You know, so up there with some of the other things I've done with my life, it's tops.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was basically it, and started training, and
you're how old now?
32.
32. So you trained since you were 8.
Yeah.
And you're 30. We're the same age. When's your birthday?
May.
May. Okay. Well, let's see. So mine's October. So you're older.
Older.
Than me. Yes. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So 85 then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
85.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. I didn't realize we had the same birth year.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you're 32, training since you were 8. And that is...
Don't make me do the math.
I know, I can't do it either right now.
So
that's 26 years. It's 26 years.
Yeah.
No. 24.
Yeah, 24. Because I know I'm coming up on my 25th. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, what do I get myself?
Yeah,
you know?
something.
Yeah.
A car.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole other story.
We're not going to talk cars tonight. Now, what would be great, because my dad's a car guy, would be to have you and my dad on a podcast. I'll make that happen one day, because that guy loves cars and you do too.
Yeah, I'll go with cars for hours.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know anything about cars.
Yeah.
It would be a terrible conversation. Very informative and enjoyable for you, but terrible for me.
For sure.
So you've been training. You're coming up on your 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
You've been training, and so what? And this, you're the inside, right? You know martial arts. You've been doing it a long time. I'm from the outside looking in. I have had a smidgen of jiu-jitsu training, just a little bit, not enough to know anything, and I've done a little bit of striking training. So I know nothing, right? And so, but you're coming from, almost 25 years of experience. What are your... Have you trained, is it strictly Taekwondo that you've continued to train? Have you trained other arts? What level are you in Taekwondo?
I've dabbled in pretty much everything. Okay. I'm a Taekwondo, guy. I love it.
Is that how you say it? That's the right way to say it?
Taekwondo,
Taekwondo, because there's always a Steven Seagal way to say it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get it wrong.
And it's funny because I'll bounce back and forth.
Really?
It just kind of depends. Like if I'm conscious of it, I'll say it the right way, and then sometimes I say it the wrong way.
Flows.
Yeah, and then like there was a Korean dude will show up and be like, "Oh, you say it wrong," and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Oh, my bad.
My bad.
Got it.
But it's as far as my experience goes, I've got a 4th degree black belt in one style of Taekwondo. I've got a 5th degree in another style. So kind of like almost like Christianity, for example. You got
That's an easy example.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You got a family tree, right?
Right.
And so they're not all the same thing. So even though Christianity is Christianity, you've got different.
A lot of branches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one style I got it, and then went to another style of Taekwondo.
Gotcha.
So from one style, and then blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, really?
I don't honestly give myself that much credit for it because I went to a school and I trained there for a year and.
You got a blue belt in a year?
Yeah.
That's
and
quick, bro.
Well, and it's funny because I went and I was already, I'd done jiu-jitsu
So you knew basics.
Yeah, I knew a whole bunch of
then
stuff
some.
already. I'd trained with jiu-jitsu guys and stuff.
Okay.
So I get there and they're like, do you have any martial arts experience? And when you own a studio and you're going to another studio, you're really hesitant to say that. Because
Why would you be hesitant to say that? Because you feel like you're coming off like a douchebag?
Well, either you're going to come off as a douchebag or they're going to instantly hate you and want to kill you.
You're going to get murdered.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, fuck this
I'll
guy.
throw you with the black
Yeah,
belt.
yeah, okay, yeah. You think you're a badass, and then, especially at jiu-jitsu guys.
I have my own studio.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I try to stay humble and like, so I always just like, yeah, I do. No, yeah. That way, like under promise and over deliver.
Hell yeah. Yes.
So I would rather, just go in and treat
Instead
me
of
like a
getting
white
murdered.
belt, and
Yeah.
and from Taekwondo to Jiu-Jitsu,
What's the difference?
Well, Taekwondo is striking, stand
right?
up. We're
Yeah.
known for our kicks.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of flashy stuff. So jumping, spinning, 540s, 360s, 720s, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you're going two completely different dynamics.
And you train gi, right? Not no gi?
Yes.
Okay.
Gi.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So. I've done a little no-gi stuff, but 99.9% of it was gi.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
And so I was like, man, not quite, the school that I went to was just convenient.
Yeah.
Great guys, but
for sure.
They had a purple belt instructor there,
okay,
along with a black belt. But I was rolling with the purple belt one time and tapped him.
Really?
And I'm like, that should not
be happening. No.
So that's why I don't really give myself. They gave it to me.
I'm a blue belt, but it's like those honorary doctorates.
Yeah,
like doctor. Yeah, don't call me doctor.
Yeah. So
don't put it on the invitation.
Yeah, I know, I've being in the martial arts industry, I know some, top level people that, where, okay, these guys are legit.
They're really,
and I've
really
done seminars where,
really
and tied me in knots. And like, okay, if they found me in a dark alley, they were going to have their way with me. Yeah. It's not that you can say no, it's just going to happen. So.
I like what I've heard this, and I don't mock jiu-jitsu at all, because I've trained it a little bit, and I've been humbled so many times in what little amount of time I've trained it. But I have a client that does a lot of, talks a lot about street fighting and just, figuring out how to survive, and they escape, not necessarily win a fight with 5 guys. It's not going to happen, but, because it's not a movie. But he talks about, weight class and gi and all that, and it's just like, you're not going to, if you're in a bar, it's not going to be, hey, could you go put on a funky outfit real quick? And are you the same weight as me? All right, cool. Then we'll fight a little bit later. For sure. It's just not how it's gonna go down. And again, that's not to mock or hurt any other style of martial arts. I think, again, having trained it, it's incredible. It's been amazing. Again, very little training that I've had. But when something clicks, it's just a beautiful thing. When you train something over and over and you keep getting submitted and it's so frustrating. Like, I can't fucking get this. So annoying. And then finally it clicks, like, oh, it goes that way.
I got it.
Okay, yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, for sure. And it's funny that you bring it up. It's because that's probably, being in martial arts for so many years, one of my biggest, I guess, pet peeves.
Okay.
My thing is I try to respect every single art and style.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so even like MMA, people are like, okay, well, it's it, and it is. It's a cutting edge. It's everything combined.
Right.
But even I tell people like, okay, what are we trying to accomplish here? Because MMA doesn't always translate into self-defense.
No.
Because you're training to fight and you're training to fight in a cage with rules.
Yeah.
And so, like, I tell people, it's like, hey, just so you know, I'll kick you in the nuts as hard as I can.
Fuck yeah.
I don't give a shit. If
I'm fighting for my life.
If I'm fighting for my life or something I care about, and I've done, years of Haganah Krav Maga.
Really? Okay.
So there are some things, I teach a class and we say, hey, we have a rule on biting. And everyone goes, okay, what's the rule on biting? Your teeth have to connect. And so, you see, ouch! Yeah, you see, because everyone's like, oh yeah, don't do it because their blood might get in your mouth. Screw that. If you're in a self-defense scenario, if you're going to bite, fucking mean it.
All the way through.
Yeah, whatever it is that you're biting, you're taking it with you. It now becomes yours. That's your souvenir after you beat the shit out of the person. Yeah.
So, you gotta go Mike Tyson on
Yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate because, a lot of people that don't stay, up to times and stuff like that. Like, it's like, how can you not know about Mike Tyson biting the...
People don't?
Yeah. I'll make a joke and stuff, and of course I don't say it around the kids.
No,
but,
no.
Like the adults, and most of the time, like the dads will get it, but the moms are like, Mike Tyson. I don't really quite understand where you're going with that. I'm like, how do you not know that?
You bit your ear off.
Yeah, you can bit it off and spit it out. So anyway,
I kept fighting.
Yeah. So I mean,
I
as a martial artist,
Yes.
people ask me all the time, like, okay, what style is the best? I get that.
I bet you
all
do,
the
huh?
time,
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like, I'm a taekwondo guy.
Right.
I'm not going to use taekwondo to protect myself on the street.
Yeah.
I'm not going to 540 someone in the face. I think it would be awesome, and I fantasize about it.
Yeah, of course you do.
And, some hot girl standing there watching me, and I'm doing it, and doesn't ever work that way. So
that's real life.
Yeah. So that's basically my thing is like people ask, and it's like I just keep it real.
Keep it real, like so. If I were to, in my opinion,
yeah.
Which style is right? Well, the one that's going to save your life.
Yeah.
Like that. But again, you have to know it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand it.
Well, I mean, it's like Bruce Lee, basically was like, hey, I don't really fear the guy that can do 1,000 kicks, or 10,000 or whatever. I fear the guy that does one 10,000 times.
Yes.
And so, I've seen all sorts of stuff through the years. People compare taekwondo to this and that,
right.
and that, and it really comes down to the practitioner themselves.
Yep.
And their skill level in that, and then what are the rules of the game you're playing.
Gotcha.
Some of my great friends that are jiu-jitsu guys, if they come and they do a taekwondo match with me, I'm gonna whoop their asses.
Yeah.
If I go and do an MMA match or a jiu-jitsu match,
right.
I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
In those terms and stuff.
Yeah.
And then okay, where do we go from there? I do a lot of the Israeli stuff. So
gotcha.
For me to kick somebody in the nuts, that's primal instinct. That's cool, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I have no qualms of reaching down there, grabbing whatever I can, and ripping it off.
And that's the right. And I the only term that I know, you're saying Israeli. The only term that I know is Krav Maga.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about it. I just know the words.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I understand, I wouldn't say like the best martial art, but like from what little I understand, it sounds like the most brutal, where it's just kind of like no holds barred. I'm here to kill you, and that's what I've been trained to do.
Yeah.
Am I right on that, or am I incorrect?
Yeah, no, you're pretty right on with it. It's street self-defense. So hand to hand, hand to knife, knife to knife, hand to gun.
Gotcha.
And nowadays, like I always try to tell people, like, okay, let's define self-defense. What does it mean nowadays?
Yeah. Okay.
But we have shootings. We have mass shootings and stuff like that and stuff. So we take it a step where we take our students and we take them out shooting. Because
cool. Yeah, I've seen your seminars.
Yeah, if you take the gun away from someone, you better know damn well how to use it.
Deal with it, yeah.
Otherwise it doesn't do you any good to take it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it doesn't change the power scheme.
Yeah, so
it's the same.
Yeah, but Krav Maga, Israeli self-defense and stuff like that. My draw to it is it's just no bullshit.
Yeah.
There's one stance in it.
Really?
That's it. It's like, in
awesome.
Taekwondo, it's like you got this stance and this stance and this stance. And a lot of traditional martial arts are that way. Krav Maga and Hagana and stuff like that. It's like, dude, get in a fucking fighting stance.
Just fight.
Yeah, don't make this complicated. It's a fighting stance.
It's pretty easy.
That's it. So, and I'm like, oh, cool, I like that. Just simple, to the point.
Right? So speaking of that, and I don't know if we can... I don't know. I know I have some people that listen, and not everyone watches this, and it'll have to be upper body because we can't really stand up.
Yeah.
Can you show me something, whether it's on me or yourself, something basic that you feel like everyone should know, or just something that's really like, you're on the street, you're whatever. Like, I don't know. Just as we're talking about, I'm like, this would be something that would be fun.
We do a lot of women's like self-defense things.
Yes, I've seen those.
I'm gonna kind of just put you in that category.
I'll be the woman.
Now. Yeah.
Well, actually, I've been the bitch before. It's all good. Not the women are bitches.
No,
strike
we don't
that
want to
from
go
the
there.
record.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So one of my favorite techniques is it's just called a jugular notch. And
don't do it to me.
You already know it, right? So it
sounds terrible.
Yeah, here, which I like to go.
So you take your middle finger and you put it over top of your index finger.
And basically, jugular notch. You're gonna go in, and what I always tell everyone is try to massage the top of their actual stomach. So you're gonna go down.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So you stick.
Yeah.
Between the clavicle.
Yeah. So when I'm in here and I press in and down. It
didn't hardly push at all. It's so painful.
Yeah, and when you
it's
push,
because you have your two fingers together, it gives you that force.
I mean, you can do one. It tends to bend.
That's what I'm saying.
This reinforces.
When you lock them in.
Yeah.
So and it just comes over the middle. For those that are listening, it comes over in the middle of their. Was this their clavicle?
Well,
yes.
The collarbones, right?
The collarbone. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that soft spot right there.
Yeah.
You push straight in, but you want to go as far as you can back, and then downward motion. And it's funny because
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's like we'll do stuff where a woman's getting choked.
Yes.
You know, and stuff like that, and you could literally take a 200-something pound man, and if you can reach and push, it just causes them to.
You constrict back.
Yeah, they don't. You don't like it. It sucks.
That's crazy.
And I mean, it's right up there with like me. I don't know if I'd necessarily do that because I don't like to disengage.
Yes.
But just open hand throat strike.
Yep.
Fucks people
I've seen
up.
that before.
You know?
I've seen that on cops a lot.
Yeah, and it works. You know?
It always works.
Yeah, people it's like I don't like punching people in the head because it really freaking hurts.
Yeah, it'll fuck up your hand.
Yeah,
I had a buddy in college, which was way off subject.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I had a buddy in college. This guy fucked with his fiance. And he was actually I went to Colt College, right? Mm-hmm. And he was a bus driver. And I will never forget that. The guy fucked with his fiance. She called him. We're on our way to church. We found the guy at church. He's sitting in his bus, and they had a little shouting match. And then my buddy jumped up on the bus and was like just yelling at him in his face. And then the guy said something to the effect of like, "You don't scare me. I'm not scared of you." And my buddy Gavin is, I don't know, 6-something, and the guy was just like sitting there, little guy, like my size. And he's like, "I'm not scared of you." "Oh, you're not scared of me?" And just wham! Like he had all from way up here. He came and knocked him right in the head. And it was so hard. Like I saw like the goose egg, like starting to happen
right away.
And then we got back to church, and Gav was like, "I fucked up my hand, bro."
Yeah.
Like he really. I don't know if I'll have to ask him after this. I don't know if he broke it, but he fucked it up good.
Oh.
Like it really messed up his hand.
I always laugh because in movies, people punch each other in the face and stuff, and I'm like, dude, do you know how? I mean, I'm not opposed to punching someone in the face. Sometimes people need it.
It happens,
but it fucking hurts. Like it's like, and it doesn't matter. You hit with your two. Yeah, it's not. I'd rather open hand strike someone in the face. There's so many other things that I'd rather do. Then
fuck up your hand.
Then fuck up my hand.
That's a good point.
And it hurts. It's like, and the funny part about it is 99% of the time at the moment, you don't feel it. Your adrenaline's so high.
Yes, that's what happened to Gavin. Yeah. He was just like, and then we ran out of there, and literally within 30 seconds, like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Once you're like in that zone of like, whether it's a real fight or even like fighting, training and stuff.
Yeah, there's adrenaline.
Yeah, your adrenaline's going, and then you get something happens, and you're like, fuck, that probably would hurt, and then you don't really notice it, and then all of a sudden you're like, afterwards, it's like I've been kicked in the nuts before, and I knew I'm like, man,
really in the moment.
Yeah, man, I knew like in about a few seconds that's really gonna hurt.
Oh shit!
But I'm so pissed off right now. I just want to hit you back. And then as you go to hit him back, you're like, oh fuck, I
can't. You're on the ground.
Now and you're looking at him like, dude, that was not cool.
That was not alright.
Like, don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Leave me the
Stay
hell
away.
Yeah,
that's good. So leading into that, like we're talking about martial arts, we're talking about this thing that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then Gavin punching this guy in the face. Why? And I think we've already talked to it a little bit, but like, why train? I guess I would say why train intensively, or why train a lot? Like as an adult, and this is I'm playing devil's advocate, so don't get mad at me or choke slam me or whatever. Yeah, God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
As an adult, we've got jobs, we've got kids, we've got a lot of things to do. Why make time for martial arts in there? Why is it important?
It's funny because one of the biggest, I think, problems with my industry, especially traditional martial artists, is we've invested so much time in it that we can't understand how other people can't do it.
I think, and I don't say you're wrong in any way, shape, or form, because I don't want you to hurt me.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people get that way. Mm-hmm. Like you're so involved with your baby, your thing, that it's just like, how do you not get that SEO is important or whatever it is?
For sure.
But I get it. Yeah. But there's a lot more. I would say, in my opinion, from the outside looking in, a lot more like steeped tradition and a lot more values and things like that involved in martial arts, which makes it harder for you or anyone else that's deeply involved to comprehend, like,
for sure.
Why don't you get it?
Well, and it's like, for example, like in your industry and stuff, and, you're doing online stuff and and stuff, when did you start that? At what age?
Right.
You got people like me that I've done this
You've been doing it. Child. I wasn't doing SEO at 8 years old. Yeah. I don't think there was SEO.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a huge dynamic difference there.
Absolutely.
Where it's like a lot of these martial artists, we've literally grown up
our whole life.
Yeah. And so it almost becomes...
Ever since the purple pants.
Yeah, exactly. So it almost becomes a religious type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you're indoctrinated into it.
Hell
so,
yeah.
To answer your question, I kind of went one way, but I'm coming back is...
Yes.
I always tell everyone, it's like, look, I personally believe that physical activity is important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you came to me and said, hey, do I need martial arts? I don't know. Do you?
Yeah.
You know, I don't try to put a square peg into a round hole.
That's awesome.
You know, so.
Because a lot of people do.
Yeah, and you know, I tell even my guys that work for me at my place is like, if someone comes in and they're looking for a jiu-jitsu school, even though we teach a little bit of jiu-jitsu, send them to a jiu-jitsu school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't do business that way.
Yeah.
Because it's not ethical.
It's underselling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not big into that. You know.
Yeah.
So, but you know.
That's overselling.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and so it's you know, to answer your question, I think it's just one of those things of, if you have the mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and it's funny because I meet a lot of adults that in their 20s, 30s, 40s go, you know, my kid trained, or I trained way back in the day, and
when I was
always,
a kid.
yeah, and I always wish that I would have gotten my black belt. And so I think there's more value in stuff like that for adults.
Yeah.
You know, where, you know, mark it off your to-do list.
Hell yeah.
You
Put
know,
it on the bucket list.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to do what I've done and make it your life.
Right.
And that's, again, you know, I'm very realistic on that. Is,
Yeah.
you know, people may be with me for a few years, get their black belt, and go, I've
they're
accomplished a goal.
They checked it off and
Yeah.
they go home.
And I just always tell people, hey, you earned a black belt, you're not a black belt. There's a difference.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so, you know, and I don't even think I answered your question, to be honest. You know,
well, I mean, why? I mean, you did in a
Yeah.
way. Like it's where you're. I think what you're saying, from my view, is it's where you're at in your life. Where are you at? Like,
Yeah.
are you at a place where you feel threatened on a consistent basis? Then it's probably time to go ahead and do some training.
Yeah.
You feel a lot more confident, I think.
For sure.
Walking down the street. Are you at a place in your life where you have time and you're like, you know what? I never got that black belt when I was 15. I really want to go back
mark it
into
off, you know?
Yeah.
And so I kind of, especially for adults our age, you know?
Yes.
Martial arts, I think, has to serve a purpose for you.
Absolutely.
And you know, and everyone has their own reason.
Yeah.
They usually fall into some pretty generic things. You know, most adults, you know, come to martial arts. They're not coming to me because they're like, hey, sir, I really want you to teach me discipline. Well, fuck, if you're 30-something years old and you don't have discipline, there's not much I can do.
You're fucked.
Yeah, you're screwed, you know? And it's what the funniest part is, I have so many adults that will come to me and either during training or after, and they're like, I never realized that I would learn so much more about discipline and perseverance and integrity because of the thing. So I had them already, but it gave me a different perspective that I never would have been able to have.
That makes sense.
You know, and so, you know, it's everything in life has, you know, you have your life events.
Yep.
And martial arts, I think, it just has a unique way of demonstrating a lot of those things to people.
I like that.
You know, so you understand.
It's a visceral way, I would say.
Yeah.
Just kind of like in your face, like this is
for sure
not end of the road, but it's more of an absolute. Because I feel like nowadays there's a lot of absolutes, in my opinion. There's a lot of absolutes that shouldn't be absolutes. There's a lot of black and white that's just like, I think that's more gray. And then there's a lot of things where you're just like, you know, I don't see why I don't see why this is an absolute, or I do see why this is an absolute. And so I think training, again, I've done little to no training, but it really forces you to say, oh, I can't breathe. Oh, I'm really fat. Or really out of shape. You know what I mean? Like, that's why when I was training, what little I did, the guy that was coaching me, and everyone has different terms. I was training with a 10th Planet guys, Eddie Bravo, not Eddie himself, but I was training with some 10th Planet guys, and they did this thing called surfing. So he's got me. He can go whichever guard he wants. I'm screwed. I'm just laying there trying to stay alive and praying in.
Yeah.
And he's just laying on top of me, belly to belly, going like this. And I can't breathe. Yeah. And I've tapped from that. And then he was training me for a match. He's like, you can't tap from that in the match. If that guy gets on top of you, because the guy was bigger than me, you can't do that. I will kill you. But I think that really puts into perspective, like, this guy's doing little to no effort, and I feel like I can't, I'm so, like, I have to be done now. Yeah. So I think it helps you, again, you're giving me the inside perspective, which I wanted. And from the outside, it's just kind of like, yeah, I get that. And I think the absolutes are, when you come up on those hard stops where you're like, I have to tap, I have to take a break, I'm out, my cardio is spent, like I'm done.
It's funny because, you know, I always tell people, I love to spar. You know, there's nothing more that, you know, well, there are a few things more than I like. Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah. That's how I ended up with kids. So,
it happens.
Yeah.
I got one too.
Yeah. But, you know, like, I love kicking people in the head. It's freaking awesome. You know, and
I mean, it sounds like it would be.
Yeah, it's great. You know, when you smash someone in the face with your foot, you're like, fuck yeah, that's right.
I did that shit.
Yeah, I did. Look at you now. But it's a moment of clarity, and it's not so much kicking someone in the face.
Yes.
It's that everything else in your life at that point, the bills, the stress, none of it matters.
Dude, okay, so I know you're on one, so I want you to come back to it. And again, you 25 years... Let's say 2 weeks, giving me a lot of credit, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks. But I remember that very, very... Because we all have things that go on. We have drama, whether it's personal, relationship, work, whatever it is. And I remember, there's a... And I told this to a friend of mine that's trained... my client that's trained Muay Thai for a while as well. And have you seen Fight Club?
Oh, yeah.
So, I love Fight Club.
I think you got something.
I do. I have the soap. I got the soap. Fuck yeah, that's from Russia.
Yeah.
It's legit. There's a scene with Ed Norton, and he's in the office, the narrator, and his boss comes up to him and he's trying to tell him something. And I know I've said this on the podcast before, but fuck it, I like this. It's really true, and what you just said, like, it's neat to hear from someone that has as much experience as you do, to hear that perspective and be like, I said that before, it's true.
Yeah.
He's I'm so smart.
Yeah.
I know all the martial arts.
I got this down. Yeah.
No, his boss comes up to him with some paperwork, and he's trying to talk to him, and Ed can't hear him. It's a fog. And it's just the Charlie Rumble, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he can hear.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to, what's going on? And then the narrator comes in and says, when you've been fighting, like all this day-to-day life shit just drones out.
Yeah.
And I very much remember within a week of my match, we'll call it a match, but within the week of my match, I remember some drama coming up and me being like, I went to therapy and I told my therapist about it. I'm like, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's crazy the effect, and that's why I want to get back into training, because it's crazy the effect that has on you, where it's, like you said, you kick someone in the head or whatever it is, and there's nothing else. It's just that. And I personally feel like that lasts. I think the more you, and again, what little experience I have, the more you train, or if you keep going, like, that helped. I really feel like that helped me prioritize, and it helped my stress levels big time.
Oh, for sure.
Lots of stress rolling on the mat. But then for a few hours. Yeah. Then throughout the rest of the week, this popped up, that popped up. No one's on top of me. Yeah. I can breathe.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because, Taekwondo, we break shit. So
yeah.
People are like, oh, why you hit a board, or bricks.
Yeah, that's good. Talk about that. Yeah.
It doesn't hit back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. If you fuck it up, it hits back. Yeah. There's a law of physics that, it's coming back somewhere if you don't break it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, excuse me, I always, especially with my adult students, one of my favorite things is bricks, because they just have a mental block.
Yeah,
on
that
people.
makes sense.
You grab one. And
wood to me, wood looks like it could be easier. To
yeah.
break
Oh, yeah. And it's funny. They both have their ups and downs.
Sure.
But you'll stack 4 or 5 bricks, and they'll have a few 1,000-pound crush weight rating. So they're pavers.
It takes a lot. Yeah.
That people can drive their cars on and they don't break, and you're like, fuck, I'm gonna hit this with my elbow and break it.
It's a great idea.
And it's funny because, when you get up there, you're so concerned about that everything else melts away.
Yeah.
And then, especially when you break it, that's the best. I've got on videotape one of my adult students from years ago. Getting set up, takes her a moment, she breaks it and goes all the way through the bricks. And it's the most beautiful thing ever, because you can see the moment of, holy shit, I just did that.
That's awesome.
And it's awesome because, I'm filming her. Yeah. And you see it in the film of, holy shit, and she's like, it took her a good 10 seconds to just go, I did that. And then, I'm like,
that's awesome.
Yeah! And then she's like, and then we talk about it, and I was like, look, like, shit's gonna happen in your life. Yep. Right? But is it, like, are you staring at a whole bunch of bricks? Like, if you can overcome that, the stupid little shit of your neighbor bugging you, the stupid little shit of whatever it is,
traffic,
traffic or something like that,
you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, and I don't even have problems anymore. Like, I have challenges.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't have problems. I've got a shit ton of challenges. Yeah. But I love challenges. Yeah. I fucking hate problems. Yep. So I just chose not to have them anymore.
I like that, dude. I like the mentality.
Yeah, and it's so much better. And that that type of training is like, I don't look at that as a problem. That's a challenge. I want to break it.
Wow, I want to adopt that for myself. I love that.
It's so liberating. It's a mind change.
Yeah. I believe it. Yeah. I believe it 100%. So moving This is good shit.
Yeah.
That's really. I didn't know we were gonna go there at all. That's
why
awesome.
not? Yeah.
I love it. So, why? So, we'll get into your gym and how you got set up and everything and what you do there. And I definitely want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But first, why? And you train a lot of. We talked about just a little bit here and there. You're talking about kids. So you train a lot of kids. Mm-hmm. Why? And again, I'm gonna be devil's advocate because I do in the near future want my child to train martial arts, whether it's jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, whatever.
Yeah.
I definitely how do you say it?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo.
Yeah.
I was close. I had the tay.
Yeah.
I'll have to study my cigar rhetoric.
Yeah.
So, did you see the clip of him talking about Vladimir Putin?
No.
Dude, it's so funny.
He
goes, Vladimir Putin, and like he tries to pronounce it Russian. It's like, he fucked it up so bad. Anyways, I don't know why I got on that. So, why should, as a parent, you're a parent, mm-hmm. I'm a parent, why should your kids train martial arts? And I feel like, not necessarily me as a parent, but I feel like a lot of parents would be concerned about injuries or kids becoming violent because they train martial arts. And me personally, because being able to be around a lot of people in that field, I know that the whole violent thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at all. I'm not saying that kids aren't or won't happen, mm-hmm. but I don't feel like training martial arts is going to make them that. I'm just talking to devil's advocate kind of thing. So why should kids train martial arts? Is it going to make them more violent? And what level of concern should they be for injuries? And I think it's interesting to know that I have friends whose kids do all other kinds of sports and they get injured all the time. Football, baseball, soccer. I had a friend, a girl that I know, her daughter got injured. I don't know if it's ballet, but some kind of dance class. She got injured.
Oh yeah.
So
ballet's brutal.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Brutal. I did it. Brutal. Okay. Yeah. I did ballet before I did martial arts.
Wow.
And mostly because I never went through that like girls have cooties stage.
Yeah.
I just went through the girls are the most beautiful things stage.
Fuck yeah.
And so I was like ballet.
You skipped the bullshit.
It was a target rich environment. Yeah. And then, that's all I was thinking. I was like 7 years old. I was like, put me in that shit. There's lots of hot girls in there. And then I was like, fuck, this sucks. Yeah. I was like, this is horrible. I want to kick people in the face. Put me in martial arts. So I could do ballet, I couldn't do martial arts because of my heart condition.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is lame. Yeah. But it's hard. Anybody that does ballet, shit. Like
good for them.
Yeah, girls are rock stars. It messes up their feet, and they have the ugliest feet ever. and I'm sorry for anybody.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Anyways,
So why should our kids train? Talk about injuries and talk about violence. Is it going to make them more violent? And how concerned should we be about injuries? I think in comparison to other sports that they're going to train where they're going to get injured for sure.
Man. Okay. So
I know it's a lot. Let's go one at a time.
Yeah.
Why should kids train martial arts? Why?
For the exact same reason that I was kind of alluding to for adults, right?
Okay.
Find your why.
Yeah.
Okay. And usually, it's going to be something for parents like life skills.
Yeah.
Discipline, respect, integrity, all those things.
We just talked about challenge and problems.
Yeah.
Like, man, if I could have figured that out, and I'm not saying I'm there, but if I could have had a better understanding of that as a teenager or a young adult, oh my God. Dude,
crazy, right?
Life would have been so much better.
And so, those are the things, it's like, people will bring their kid because they're getting bullied.
Yeah.
And so, that's a big hot topic now, bullying and bullying.
It is.
Okay, let's establish this.
I didn't write that down earlier, but I thought about it on my way home, and I was like, we need to talk about. I got the martial arts guy. We need to talk about bullying. So let's talk about that.
So they're always like, stop bullying. You're never gonna stop bullying.
Thank you.
You're never gonna stop it. Ever. And so this whole thing, I was like, people have come to me for like my business. They're like, you should do an anti-bullying seminar. No.
You thought about it.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Well,
I'm like,
about that. Okay, I'm a businessman, and I want to grow my business
for sure.
But like anti-bullying, say no to bullying. We're human beings, and so it's always going to exist. There's always going to be somebody that feels like they're either bad or good or whatever, and they're going to try to push someone down. And however, that being said, I have the cure for bullying.
There you go.
I know what it is.
Yep.
If you have confidence, it's basically impossible.
You can't be bullied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about trying to stop something that you can't stop. Worry about trying to, guard yourself from it and having a defense. And a defense is, if your child is getting bullied, find a way to get them more confident. Yeah. But, I always laugh because, like, people are like, oh, confidence, and they think it's a thing. It's like, well, yeah, let me go down to the supermarket and buy 5 gallons of confidence. You know, it's like
it's not a tangible
it's not
item.
Yeah, and so even like confidence, like what does it mean? Well, confidence is a process.
Yeah.
You know, we could sit here and go, you know, if we start talking about cars, you know, my confidence is going to soar.
Oh, for sure.
Yours is
Mine's
going to
drop like a motherfucker.
Now, if you start talking to me about SEO, you're going to be a confident motherfucker, and I'm going to be like,
I don't know.
So you're going to take a really confident guy and make me less confident.
Okay.
And so once you understand that it's a process, then you can go, wait a minute, if it's a process, I can work on a process.
I can do it.
I can do it. Because now I've made it easy, because it's not something abstract or something that like is something that you have and I don't.
Exactly.
You know, it's simply nothing more than a process. And so that's
a process is not a thing.
Yeah. And so for, you know, like kids then, you know, like the sparring and the board breaking and all those things.
That builds that confidence.
You're doing the process. You know, and I always tell people, you know, why do kids break boards? You know, it's the practical application of the technique, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, if you ever get into a defense, you know, where you actually have to front kick somebody or punch them or something like that, they're not going to statically stand there, right? But you break a board because of the possibility of failure.
Yeah.
And so anytime that there's a possibility of failure, and I know that, and I succeed, I've now moved in that process of adding something into my database of I can overcome.
There's and I don't know, database and process, I love those terms.
Yeah.
Because they make more sense than what my therapist tells me sometimes.
Yeah.
But she talks about, like, and I'll talk about things that I've failed at, or more it's more often that I'll talk about something that I'm really worried about the outcome of this thing because it's had a poor outcome before, or I'm just worrying for no reason.
Yeah.
And she tells me every time that you worry or you're thinking about that, you're just retraining that path in your brain to think the same thing that you thought before, and you've got to go backwards with it. And that's hard because over and over and over you've seen that failure or you've had that worry, so your brain is trained, no, this is where we go. This is where we go. And what you're saying goes along the same lines. Like, you've got to build that confidence, and it starts with seeing that victory or seeing that success, and then knowing I can win, or I can break this, or I can do whatever that is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because that's one of my big things is like, you know, I confidence. You know? And you know, I always tell people, you know, like it's just a basic thing. You could watch it happen. You know, you can bring up something, whatever it may be, and instantly, just a human condition is my brain is going to search for a reference. So it instantly goes, okay, do I know what he's talking about?
Right.
And if I say zebra, right, what are you going to do? Your brain goes,
stripes,
and you can see it.
Yeah, I can see the stripes right now.
Yeah. Right, okay? So it's crystal clear. We create that thing for us. Well, if that's lacking, or if it's the wrong perspective of a certain thing, you know? And it's funny, I always use this thing. It's like, you know, if there's any ladies watching or hearing this, you get those guys that you say no to, but they keep coming back. and it's like, you remember the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance.
Right?
That's a confident motherfucker.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Because he's framed it in his mind in such a way that 1 in a million is...
Someone's going to say yes.
Someone's going to say yes. Yeah. That's just the way that he framed it.
Right.
Most normal people, like, we look at him and go, that guy's an idiot.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like...
But for him...
But it's all in the way you frame it.
Yeah.
One person, one thing can happen to them, and someone else simply looks at it the same way. Two people can have the same thing. What do you frame it in your mind, and how do you have what perspective?
Yep.
Because if something happens to you and something happens to me, and I frame it in a different way, I'm going to have a totally different look. I can turn it into confidence while you let it destroy you.
Right. Exactly.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So why do people need to train?
Why should kids train?
Whatever the why is, that parents think that their kid needs to have a more successful life.
Okay.
You know, whether it's self-defense, which is very minimal of why parents usually put their kids in.
Really?
It's always life skills, physical fitness,
discipline,
stuff like that. Discipline.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, self-defense is a good thing. People use it, but if I ask them to prioritize it,
that's not up there.
It's not up there. It's number 5 out of
America. Yeah. We don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different thing, but I mean it's on there. You know. But you know, most people that bring their kids in are bring them in for what I like. And that's for a development of what we call the life skills, you know, the discipline, the respect.
Gotcha.
And again, it's we don't go here's respect.
Right.
There's a process, and it takes time.
Yep.
And your kids will do that. And then ultimately, when you look at those things, like, how can it affect your kid's life in 10 years down the road?
For sure.
We're not talking about in a year. That's going to go by like that.
It does, though, doesn't it?
What does it change? It does.
Yeah.
You know, what does it change in 10 years for them? What does it change in 15? If my mom knew what she, you know, what the outcome right?
When you were 8.
When I was 8.
Yeah.
You know, and how it's changed my life,
That's
how
crazy.
it's changed other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
She probably would have had a totally different view. It was something fun.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something I wanted to
Something
do.
you wanted to try out as an 8-year-old. That's not going to stick.
Yeah, and
You're also
look,
not a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a ninja. I'm
Ninja,
just not
but
a
not a Ninja
turtle.
Turtle. I like that, dude.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So I don't even know if that answers it.
No,
but,
it does. That's a
you
good.
know,
That's a good answer. So why should kids train? Like, there's a lot of reasons, and it's similar to why adults. Like,
Yeah.
it's finding that why.
Yeah.
If it translates to martial arts, which I think a lot of things can, and I don't think a lot of us that haven't trained martial arts would make that application, but I think it does translate often. The other thing I was going to ask, I think there were 2 more things I can't remember, but and injuries.
Oh.
That for kids. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of, like, here's me, okay? So I'm a lot better than I was before with my kid, but dude, when my kid was like 2, 2.5, like I still hover at the park. Like I'm
Yeah.
where is she? I need to, not just like for her to run off or someone to snatch her, but like, don't fall down, don't fall over, don't hit your face. Like that was me for a long time. I'm better now, not as good as I should be, but I think from a parent's perspective of like, you know, I'm worried about them getting hurt. But when I said that to you, I immediately thought of soccer, football, ballet, like all these other things where they're gonna get hurt. It's gonna happen.
It's funny, a few years ago,
Uh-huh.
I read, it was a thing being circulated through all the martial arts industry, and it was a risk analysis by an insurance company. You know, that's all insurance does, is like, okay, let me analyze the risk,
Right.
and then we're going to charge these people accordingly. And martial arts was placed as a less of a risk than bowling for kids.
No shit.
Yeah. And so I read this, I'm like, the fuck? Like,
Really?
I almost was pissed off about it. I'm like, no, we're
It should be
dangerous.
higher.
Yeah. Like, we're dangerous, you know?
That's crazy,
Yeah,
though. That's wild.
But we're hypersensitive about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It's like, as the hypersensitive parent, oh, my kid's going to get hit. Oh, my kid's going to hit other kids. Like,
We are too, as, I mean, you know, it's my business.
For sure.
So
yeah, you don't want something bad.
I don't benefit from kids getting messed up.
Right.
Because if parents
It's not helping
take
you.
them out, the kid
Exactly.
doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So everything that we do is like, man, safety first, safety first, safety first.
Yeah.
To make sure that those things don't happen.
Gotcha.
And like anything you said, you know, any sport activity you do, there's an inherent risk.
That's interesting with the bowling, though. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I wish I could remember the article and stuff, but it was an insurance thing, and you know, football was way up there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you know,
Concussion.
Yeah, baseball was above us. We were down in like the freaking.
Tiddlywinks.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I was a little upset. I was like, no, we're dangerous.
Table tennis? Nah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think table tennis had us beat. Like, it was low.
unreal.
It was low. It was like, wow, you wouldn't think.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So speaking to that, like as far as like, I wouldn't think bowling would be more injury.
I guess they get their hands stuck in the ball. And
I would.
go with that.
I mean, you gotta think about kids.
Yeah.
You gotta what 8-pound bowling
Yeah.
ball? Like you could really
And then a
fuck
little kid
yourself up.
flying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, head on down.
Uh-huh.
What do you think are? And I have my own. Like I talk about. I have had a couple people on. One that does, a friend of mine that's been doing boxing a long time, and a friend of mine that's also a blue belt at Carlson Gracie. We talk about boxing and martial arts and kind of common misconceptions around people that are consistently doing those sports. And it doesn't have to be high level, but like, what would you say? Just because you've been doing this for so long,
Yeah.
what would you say are some common misconceptions around, you know, the training, the sports, things like that? Doesn't that have to be, again, like, just what are some things that you've heard along the way and throughout the years that you're like, yeah, that's bullshit, though.
Yeah. I mean, you know, because I'm a taekwondo guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost always just initially someone finds out you're, you know, taekwondo or
They
karate
want
guy.
to fight you?
Yeah, well, it's almost always like the woo right away, and you're like, dude, you're fucking lame.
It's so lame.
Yeah, you're so lame. Like, I haven't heard that 2 billion times already. You know, and so it's
Yes,
like,
dude,
and you know, and they think that this is how
That's
we walk
so
around.
cool. Yeah.
They're
Like, when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and
when
what
you
if
get
I
out
do
of the
this?
shower.
Yeah, and it's funny. I practice all the time. I mean, I'm
Right.
driving and I try to put my foot out the window and stuff. And my fiance is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Yeah, but and so it's partially true because a lot of
That's
things,
funny.
you know, like a lot of times when people have a you know, like an idea of something,
Yeah.
a lot of times it's
It's based in
yeah.
truth, yeah.
You know, so I'll be standing there, you know, sometimes and doing shit and stuff, and I'm like,
awesome.
"Fuck, I'm the stereotype."
Why am I doing
Yeah.
I'm the stereotype.
I hate it when they do it to me.
For sure.
Yeah, but you know, so that's kind of one of those things where, you know, they just think that we're, you know, kind of.
You're Karate Kid. That's
Yeah.
You walk around all day in your Karate Kid.
Yeah, and you know, the other one is like the, you know, again, not so much a misconception, but that I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
What would you do if I did this? You know, what would you do if I did this? I'm like, punch you in the face.
Every time.
Yeah,
I would choke slam.
Throat strike.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you're jugular notch. You're not, you know, like, shut up and get away from me.
Right.
Stop asking stupid questions. But
you know I know this
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Leave me
like,
alone.
dude, why? You know, it's like, but you know,
That's hilarious. I do have that happened. I think I saw a video of a friend of mine, and again, she's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert, and my friend who is the boxing guy was like, and she was like, just like done.
Oh yeah,
They were It was just funny to see like. Because I guess I've never really done that to anyone, but to say I haven't thought is an absolute lie. I've definitely thought it. Like, oh, you know jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Well, what if I did this?
Yeah.
I saw a guy, I can't think of his name. I saw a guy in Walmart last night wearing a checkmat shirt. And I knew who he was. I've seen him. He trains at Hendo's. And I was like, I should just like run up and like jump on his back and see what he does. Well, he's trying to shop with his family.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. And so that shit, like, I have my friends, you know, mess with me and stuff like that.
Yeah, it happens.
And it's just like, you know, all the time. They're like, well, all right, well, if we get in a fight, we got you, it's cool. And I'm like, dude, I'm 5'6". Like, and they're like, yeah, but I've seen you. You did like a jump spinning back click and you kicked a thing that was like 8 feet up in the air and stuff.
It's a fight. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, well, like, I really try not to fight. And that's one of the things. Yeah. You know, most of the time people think, like, okay, you train in martial arts, you want to fight.
You want to fight all the time.
I tell people all the time, I get to do it all the time. So, you know, I know a lot more people that didn't do martial arts that ended up in a lot more fights versus people that train martial arts and end up not fighting.
That's what I found across the board. Like, the more that I get to know these people and train them, and I wouldn't say violent or non, I would just say, like, you can give me a better perspective on this. But from what little I know, it just seems like once you, like, know the moves or you know the things, it's like, then you have that confidence of like, well, yeah, I don't need to fight you. Like, could I beat you? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I don't need to.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to go train in a couple hours anyways and sweat my ass off.
Yeah.
So why would I fight you now?
Well, you know, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. You have these things in your mind, confidence, the process. Yeah. Right? And so I've knocked people out. A lot, you know, and it's, you know, I enjoy
it's great,
it.
Right?
Yeah. You know, when you knock a dude out, like, I say that all the
imagine.
time to every man. I'm like, I don't think you've really ever lived until you've knocked out another man.
I can't. I mean, I've watched him do it, and I've done it on my Xbox. But never in real life.
And there's something different. Like, man, that's a powerful moment, you know. And so, you know, people like, man, how can you do that? And I've been knocked out a lot.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and that's one of the funny things about martial arts is because you could knock me out, and I could buy you a beer after.
Yeah.
You know, and people,
thing.
People are like, why are they hugging? Why are they okay and stuff?
It's a sport.
Because it's so pure.
Yes.
You know, it's you against me and stuff like that. And so I've tend to found, you know, most of the time, as martial artists, people have a concept, you know, an idea like, hey, you know, you're probably a little bit more violent, and it's almost 99.9% of the time the opposite.
True.
You know,
that's crazy.
It's we've been through it. What do I have to prove to you?
Yeah, I like that. That's a good statement.
Every single day, or you know, I've knocked people out. And
right.
Stuff. I already know how this is going to end. I can play through this in my head how this is going to go for you.
Right.
And I've got database. You know, in my database,
I've locked away all the things that I'm going to do.
And I've got all the things I've already done. Yep. So you know, you being there, you know, going
in my
on
face.
the floor, you know, it's just another day in the office.
Right. So why do it?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I'm not going to end up in handcuffs for you. So
right. Fuck that.
You're not worth it.
It's not the same at all because you've done it a lot. I've done it once, but I will say, and again, when I had my little match, and I'm going to keep referring back to it because it's all I got to go off on.
Cool, yeah.
When I had my little match, I did submit the other guy somehow. We talked about this earlier. I didn't have the choke in. It was arm triangle. It was not solid. I think he was just tired. Actually, he told me afterwards.
Yeah.
He said, man, I was tired. And I was like, dude, I know. I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I told him, I didn't have it. He's like, I know, dude. I just wanted it to be over. I was like, I don't blame you. But even then, I was like, oh shit, I submitted this guy. Like, it was a crazy feeling. Not unlike anything ever before or since.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing else like it.
And I tell people like that all the time. It's like, you just don't understand, you know.
You have to have done it.
And that's one of the things where martial artists, and I really think real martial artists, you know, people that dedicate their life to it.
Yeah, not a couple weeks of training.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not meaning that,
but I'm just saying, like, that's where it is.
And where, you know, there's more mutual respect.
Yes.
You know, of that and stuff, and that's, you know, I don't like talking, you know, I like to poke fun, but I don't talk bad about other martial arts.
Schools,
And schools, you know, it's just, no, man, you have your positives, you have your negatives. Yep. I don't think any system is flawless and stuff, but yeah, it's a super interesting thing, you know, that moment of exhaustion,
Yes.
is an interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, I had a match one time, and it wasn't a match. It was a beatdown that I was receiving, and it was. I went to a school that they knew who I was, and they hated me.
Oh no, dude.
And so I got.
Why did you do that?
Oh man,
You didn't know,
there's a long story.
Okay.
That's like another podcast.
We'll do that on the next podcast.
That's like a whole another one. But to make a long story short,
Yes.
I remember, and what they would do is they lined up their best 5 or 6 guys, and for an hour straight, I went.
You rotated.
Yeah.
Did you get breaks?
No.
What the fuck?
They did.
Yeah, of course, because it was on the next guy.
Yeah.
You didn't get a break for an hour?
An hour straight. And I remember this one.
I'm exhausted. Like I've had a long day right now, but I'm just super exhausted hearing that. That sounds so.
It was brutal, and I remember getting to a point where I was praying to God.
For sure.
And it's funny because what I was praying for was, God, please let one of them knock me out.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because we're doing taekwondo, so it's striking, boom, 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 and so you get to the point your arms can't even stay up anymore. You're just getting kicked in the face. And you're like, fuck, dude, someone knocked me out already. Like, this is where I found out. Like, I'm kind of actually difficult. Like, I've been knocked out before.
To knock you out.
But like, and I know I can because I've been knocked out before. Happened. But apparently, the more you get knocked out, does your brain get? I don't know. I think it's the opposite. But
your head's like, no, we're not doing that again. We don't like that.
But I was praying to God. I was like, please, Lord, let them knock me out because
I need a KO right now.
It's the only way I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
And so either they knock me out or they kill me, but I refuse to stop.
Yeah.
And
I would have stopped.
Yeah. And
Good for you.
It is. And that, like, for me, that was just so many years of training.
Right.
And just getting
discipline.
And it was just I didn't know what quit was, almost to a detrimental point.
Yeah, if you're getting the shit beat out of you for an hour,
it was the worst thing ever. And I'll never forget, that was May 2nd.
There's another one.
It's crystal clear. Yeah. Then I went back for May 4th, which is my birthday, and they did it again. My mom was there. I was crying the whole time.
Oh my god.
It was awesome. She's like, these people hate you. And I'm like, I know. I was all beat and stuff. They're like taking me to dinner for my birthday and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, that was fun.
So your birthday is May the 4th. Yeah. So you get a lot of Star Wars shit.
Man,
I knew you were going to do
that. I hate it.
Right?
Yeah, I know. I am not a geek. Yeah.
So you're not a Star Wars fan at all?
You know what? I can dig the old school stuff.
Right.
Man, dude.
You said May the 4th. I'm like, I have to say something.
I know. It sucks. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And the guys that work for me are like they're
constant ribbing.
Yeah, and they're like they're super geeks. So I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah. I'm like, oh damn it. And they're like, haha, May the 4th. They're like, you're probably a geek inside. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm cool.
I'm not a fucking geek.
I'm not a nerd.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, not on that note at all. I usually have a decent segue, but not for this one. What made you, so we've talked about martial arts a lot. What made you decide, like, again, you've been doing this since you were 8, so you've got a million reasons, I'm sure, but what would you say would stand out to you as, this is why I decided to open up a gym and start training?
As I was training when I was younger, I competed a lot. And so I did the whole competition circuit within an organization that I was in, and blah, 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 did really well. And at some point, I started teaching.
Okay.
And there was something inside of me was, okay, you get to a point, and it's like a lot of guys that fight and do that, that's what they dedicate their life to.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to do both. And people do it.
I've heard this before.
Yeah. And so, it's hard to you either dedicate to someone else or you dedicate to yourself.
Yep.
And, those that try to do both very rarely do it well.
That makes sense.
It can happen, and I've seen it, but it's rare. And I knew I wasn't one of those.
Right.
So I either had to give myself the attention or give it to someone else.
Right.
And what happened for me was I went to a tournament, and my ring would always go last. So I'd sit there.
What?
My ring for my matches.
You went over my head.
Yeah. So tournament rings. So
you
go to taekwondo tournament, you'll go into a big convention center.
Yes.
And there'll be 20 or 30 rings. And,
okay, so I'm sorry, mat is the word. So your mat, or your, I just wanted, for my listeners,
for sure.
So your mat or your area where you're going to compete, you're going last. You're going to sit through all these matches.
Yeah. So there's all these, there's 30 different rings.
Damn, that's a lot.
And it could be 10, 15, 20, 30, depends on, 50.
How many attendees and whatnot, okay.
And so we always just called it, that's my ring, know. And so it was always going to be one of the last ones. And I got to watch my students compete and kind of coach and do that.
That's
and
cool,
stuff.
Dude.
And
I tried to interrupt Eddie one time. I went to an EBI invitational. And
Yeah,
I tried to walk. Hey, what's up? He just looked at me with like,
Who the fuck?
who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I can't talk to this guy because I see him as a celebrity.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't say anything. And I backed off. And then like I was still standing behind. He was just like, give me the bird. And I was like, oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, and so.
So you're helping them. You're kind of coaching them along.
Yeah, and so they're my students. I was teaching them and stuff like that, and my students were winning, and I was like, shit, this is a better high for me than watching my kids and my students smash other people's students.
Right.
More
so than winning a match yourself.
It was way better for me. The high was like. Hell yeah, and especially when it was other people I competed with, because they beat me in a match or I beat them and stuff. I was like, oh, damn it, But man, it stung worse when my guy lost to him or this or that or something. Yeah. So you live vicariously through them. For sure. But, then it became like, I'm just a better instructor than you are. Yeah, that's cool. And so, cool. I don't really care about this.
That's almost, would you almost say, like, that's kind of a next level kind of feeling.
Yeah, it was, that's, I pretty much stopped competing. I mean, I was forced to go back at different points.
Right.
For various reasons, but I wanted to just focus on teaching.
That's cool.
And the successes, and even outside of the tournament circuit, when you see a kid, or an adult or somebody get their black belt.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother subject matter. Kids can be black belts. Shut the fuck up. That's a whole different thing. We can talk about that on another time.
Right,
but, man, that's a hot button for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like just people like pressing like, why doesn't my kid have their black belt kind of thing?
No. Because jiu-jitsu, you can't be a kid and get a black belt. Right.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, and so people will see, in Taekwondo, we have kids, and but it's just the understanding of a black belt is completely different in different styles. For us, a black belt means nothing more than you understand the basics and you're ready to start training.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're a first degree black belt. Like, I'm a fifth degree.
Shit.
We look at first degrees and we're like, sweet.
Might
like,
as well be a white belt.
Yeah, and it is. It's the beginning of a journey. It's a journey of 1,000 miles has to begin with the first step.
First step. Mm-hmm.
All you've done now at black belt is took your first step.
First step.
That's it.
That's interesting.
And so you'll spend many more years as a black belt learning.
Before you can get to that next level.
And you spend most of your time as a black belt.
Huh,
that's where you learn and grow. I've learned way more as a black belt, and I've learned way more teaching. Anything you teach, you learn faster, and you understand the why now.
Yep.
Because instead of having someone tell you, you have someone asking you, and you have to provide that.
That makes a lot of sense.
And so, I always, in different styles, I'm not going to say, hey, you know what, no, they're doing it wrong.
Right.
But, Taekwondo gets criticized a lot for that. Oh, you're a McDojo and this and that and stuff. And it's like, if the kid's why is to build confidence, and they're here for a few years, and they get a black belt, and that helps them create confidence, and their life moves on because of it.
Yep.
Yeah, they can be a black belt.
Yeah.
They can earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the, for a kid that's 8 years old to dedicate 3 or 4 years of their life to one thing,
that's almost a lot.
Yeah, that's 50% of their life.
Yeah.
And that's I always say, people can't be a black belt until they're 16 or 18 or something. Oh, so they can start as a mid-teen and train for 2 or 3 years and get a black belt. That's okay. But the kid that's been training for 50% of his life or 60%.
How discouraging would that be?
Yeah.
God, I'd be discouraged.
It's like, let's be real. Anyways, dude, I don't even know where we were.
It's all good.
I went on a tangent.
No, it's good. That's what I wanted. That's good.
That's my bad.
That's good shit. No, not bad at all. So you open a gym, and I would say it's because you found more, I wouldn't say joy necessarily, but like you found more sense of accomplishment in training and seeing your trainees win than winning yourself.
Yeah, that was, for the most part, I think the bigger reason, is, and I tell everyone this, is like, whatever you do in your life, find your why.
Yeah,
I was put on this planet, not to teach martial arts, but to change people's lives.
Dude, that's so good.
And I truly believe that is my purpose.
That's awesome.
For me, it's hard because, now I own a business, I've got employees, and, I don't teach as much anymore. But I understood at some point, I can have 200 members at my school, and those are the only ones I can affect. Those are the people at a limit at any sort of period in time. It's just the people that are there.
Them.
But if I back away and I let my guys teach and affect those people's lives, then I can expand into other areas, help other school owners do different things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe open another business and this and that.
You can scale your influence.
Yeah, and so that's my calling. That's what I'm supposed to do.
That's awesome, dude.
I'm supposed to help people in some way, shape, or form. But I think that's where, in my opinion, humanity's really screwing up is we're really self-serving.
Dude, so much.
And we really, if people could just realize that we're here to serve others, imagine what would happen.
Dude, it would be a revolution.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything would change.
It would, dude, so much.
And
I love that you're talking about that because that's something that I wouldn't say I'm at that place, but like I did church work I grew up in it, and I was an assistant pastor for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I do not want to go back in any way, shape, or form, but there's a part of me that I'm just like, man, let's just say I'll help a client with something, or I'll help a friend with some, and I don't do IT or anything like that, but some kind of techie social media thing, and the gratification that I get from just some little thing, helping my mom and dad set up their phone, or just something small, like that gratification there's just not another feeling that I've ever felt that's like that. To me, it's a very special thing, and I don't feel like it's specific to me. I feel like every human has that capacity.
Oh yeah.
I think we all do, and I think a lot of us. It's sad to me that people are missing out on just that feeling. And again, it's good that people do good. Like that's great, and that they help people. But I think if more people knew, this is a whole other tangent.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
I think if more people knew that they're missing out on that incredible feeling, they'd go get it.
Oh, it becomes addictive,
isn't it?
And
it makes it. There's two sides of that coin. I feel like because sometimes I feel like not like that I haven't helped anyone ever, but just like I'm not in a place where I'm helping a lot of people right now, and that has depressed me from time to time. Where I'm just like, I want to help more people. Like, how do I do that? What do I do? Yeah. I don't know. This is my take on it, but I agree with you.
Yeah, it provide value for people.
Yes, dude.
And that's if you provide value for people, I really truly believe God or whatever you believe in, will bless you.
It comes back.
It does, and so
I've seen it.
It's and at the same time too, it's funny because I'm all for it. I want to help people, but I want to help people that want to help themselves.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've definitely working in the church. My fair share of like. Just give people and just they don't give a shit.
Yeah, and so that's there's always like
there's a balance.
To me, there is a balance.
Yep.
In those things. So as far as opening a studio and deciding and stuff like that, I just really realized like, hey, I've got a calling.
That's awesome.
And for me, martial arts, it's just a delivery tool. I love it.
Yeah.
But you could take martial arts away from me, and I'm still going to find a way to provide value to people and to give back. I like talking to people.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I like communicating. I like to understand. I consider myself a student of human nature. And I believe it's one of the things that's made me successful in my business and as an instructor is I understand or I seek to understand where people are coming from. And if you can do that, you can help them.
Then you can help. Yeah, if you're not getting on their level to an extent, like you're not going to understand enough to be able to. Because I've been there with people and I'm trying to help them, I just can't get it, and it's just like I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I just where you're at, my mind can't get there for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. We got to move along. Yeah. Like, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Well, and I mean that's basic communication type of stuff in the sense of if you really want to have that, you need to meet them on their level.
Yep. That's empathy.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Well, and your view of the world is going to be different from mine.
100%.
And so that doesn't mean yours is right or mine is wrong or mine is right or yours. But I need to be able to meet you on your level.
Yeah.
To have that so that we can build rapport and we can communicate from there.
I love it, dude.
But
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's
you're gonna have to come back on for like 5 or 6 more
episodes.
Yeah, I love it. One thing I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no,
Did you have more to say?
No,
I definitely don't. So we'll make this part brief, but I am curious because how long have you had the studio?
May of next year is gonna be 10 years that I've owned it.
Damn, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But before that, you were coaching, teaching, things like that.
I was the head instructor at the studio.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then the guy that owned it, he had 2 locations.
Okay.
And I basically told him that if he didn't sell it to me, I was going to steal his business.
I like it. That's very Pacino of you.
Yeah. Hey,
gangster.
I got it.
You got it.
It's not always perfect, but
you got there. What are if you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
What are some things because you're dealing with? And I think it's I don't know. I would say it's a Western thing. I wouldn't necessarily say it's an American thing.
Yeah.
But like we coddle our kids so bad.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
And so what are a few things, if you're willing to speak to it, that not necessarily with the coddling of the kids or the babying, the pampering, however someone would want to phrase it, but like, what are some things that you have seen, whether it's in the kids themselves or in the parents? Like, again, I think something that Americans are notorious for is like showing up at baseball games and being drunk and being assholes because our kid didn't get time, didn't get to play, whatever. Yeah. What are some things that you've seen in martial arts? Because I think that's interesting because we stereotypically we see soccer and baseball. Yeah. But we don't really see that much in martial arts. Not that it's not there. Yeah, yeah. But like, what are some things you've seen that just bug the hell out of you? Where it's like, don't do that.
Yeah. First off, it's almost never the kids.
Really?
It's almost never the kids. Wow. And when I say almost never, I mean like 99% of the time, it's not the kids. And this goes back to, you know, just, you know, like even for me with my employees, you know, I'll get mad or upset because something, they're not doing it a specific way that I want them to do it and this and that. And really what it comes back to is owning our responsibility of something and realizing it's my fault, not theirs. And so for the kids, it's not the kids, it's the parents.
It's the parents.
I tell parents all the time, if one of my parents sees this, I have no problem with it, or hears this, I tell parents all the time, the worst part of my job, the hardest part of my job is you. That's it.
Is it reinforcement? Like, is it just like...
You know, I mean, there's so many different things. You know, for one example, you know, I call it the little league mentality, right?
So we're already at baseball.
Yeah,
I told you.
Yeah, and so, you know, the kids are sparring and stuff. Yeah. And, you know, little Johnny gets hit or something.
Yes, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, and so, well, and you'll have, like, the dad there. And like, get angry, you know, get in there and fight. And, you know, I love when parents say something stupid like that. Because I'll go over there and I'll sit next to them. And I'll just, you know, they're watching their kid and I'll just go there. And they know I'm here. And I'll just wait for them to acknowledge me. Yeah. And I go, hey, when was the last time you made a good decision when you were angry?
Oh, shit. That's awesome. How often do you think you have to do that?
You know, it's good. Not a lot. Good, I do think martial arts has a unique thing versus that little league mentality. Yeah. Again, not trying to slam it, but there's, you know,
it's different.
Fortunately, we don't have that as much. Good. The culture we have at our studio, we try to make sure that doesn't happen. We screen people. If you suck as a client, I'm going to fire you. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, no, if you don't...
It's just more problems for you. Why?
So, you know, I don't want to take your money if you're not going to fit into with the culture and the community we created. So,
I like that, though. Like, I really like that phrase. Especially in response to, get angry. When's the last time you got mad?
No one does.
No one. Not me.
There's not one person that goes, you know, yeah, that one time I got angry, I made a great choice. No, we all
got mad and I looked at my FICO, I was like, you know what?
Yeah, it never happens, you know? And so I was like, what are you telling your child? Okay, what is a life lesson? You're paying me. And you're paying my team to help you. We're not raising your child, we're helping you. Yep. We're a team. Right? Yep. You're counteracting everything we're telling
100%.
them. I'm cool with them being aggressive. What I say is controlled aggression wins fights. Anger doesn't. Makes sense.
Yeah, well, you're gonna lose control.
Yeah, and you don't make smart decisions. And when you're fighting, you should have your wits about you. Yep. So, you know, and it doesn't really matter if you're fighting anything else. Okay, something didn't go your way, get angry.
Yeah, because, well, look at society. Yeah. That's what we're doing as a whole these days. Sure. And it's working? No.
You know, oh, you said something that hurt my feelings. I'm angry. Shut up. Grow up. Yeah, you know, how about presenting logical things? You know, use logic instead of feelings all the time.
Oh, my God, dude.
And that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it is. But we're a nation of feelings. Like, I really feel, and again, I'm happy to be here. I can't move to Canada. I'm not planning on it anytime soon. I'm just saying, like, we've gotten to where, like, I listen and watch Joe Rogan, like, wait, that's my patron saint. Yeah, like, that's my shit. Yeah, yeah. But he talks about how there's this outrage mentality where it's not even you. You're outraged for transgenders or another race or whatever it is. Like, dude, stay in your lane. Yeah. Like, do your thing.
Well, you're white, so you have to feel bad for, you know, this and that.
Whatever it is. I mean, that's a whole other thing, but it's just like, why be like you said, like, why be outraged or lose control of your emotions when you could respond? Like, I get it. It's in my opinion, that's the easy thing to do. Yeah. Is to respond emotionally because we are emotional creatures. We are. But take your emotion out of it and just respond logically. Like, how is my getting upset or angry going to help the situation? Well, guess what? It never is. Yeah. So think logically. I love that.
And it's funny and it's interesting. You know, I really truly believe almost everything we do is based on emotions.
You're 100% right.
And we use logic to back it up.
Yep.
and I don't think we're ever going to remove the emotional side.
It'll always be there, yes.
Yeah, it's just you have to learn how to control and mediate your emotions and your attention and the things that you do and stuff like that. Yeah. It is. It's just balance, you know. And
100%.
There's nothing wrong with emotions. You can feel them.
Yep.
Okay, but to what ends is this going to help whatever you're trying to accomplish?
How does it help?
Yeah, and I mean it's you know, it's funny. 2 weeks ago, my fiance's son, her middle son, which is he's not mine. I'm definitely not going to claim him right now. He's a butthead. We've been repainting the inside of the house.
Yeah, I see.
And so I had a brand new 5-gallon thing of paint. Well, he decides he wants to drag this across the tile and onto the carpet so that at 5:30 in the morning, mind you, so that he can sit on it to watch TV.
All right. He didn't spill it yet. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No,
Good.
he decided this was a process of what he was attempting to do.
Okay.
Well, from tile to carpet, you go from very easy to drag something to now resistance.
Yeah.
He kept pulling 5 gallons of paint goes out. I just replaced that carpet this year.
No.
So I'm in bed. It's 5:30 in the morning. And so I'm in bed, and his older brother comes and is waking up, you know.
How would you like to be that guy?
Oh, man. And I
got some bad news for you.
I was like, oh. Well, you know, and it's funny because he's like, there's some paint on the floor, and I'm like,
so not a big deal.
So
just some paint.
Yeah, yeah, right. I'm like, so, and it's funny because
I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to be like, you know, that huge, all that paint, it's all over the place.
Yeah. Well, there's some paint on the floor. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, and 5:30 in the morning, I'm so groggy.
You're not with it.
I was like, and so my first thought was like, I'm gonna let her deal with this. Screw this shit.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm staying in bed. Yeah. It's freaking cold.
Yes.
And
it's 5:30.
It's 5:30 in the morning. You know, God's not even up right now.
No, he's chilling.
Yeah. So, you know, I hear her going down the stairs. And you know about where someone is in your house.
Yep.
And you know, she gets halfway down the stairs, and I hear the, what the fuck? And I was like, shit. Like,
no, this is not a little bit of paint on the floor.
Okay, so this is about the point I have to get up. And so to
when
go
you
back
hear
to
the fuck word, it's time to get out of bed.
And so my number one rule is, I think for parenting, and I'm still a new parent, but if one of the parents is going to be angry, right? If you got mom and dad at home.
You got good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. Somebody has to stay calm.
Yep.
Even if you both want to be angry.
It's balance.
One of them has to stay calm. Okay.
Yep. So that had to be you?
I paid for the carpet. I wanted to wring his neck.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And so I go down and I look at it, and again, this is you know, kind of where I'm trying to take my life.
Yep.
I laughed. I'm not happy about it.
No.
But I gotta laugh because she is flipping pissed.
She's there.
Because she knows I'm gonna be pissed.
Right.
You know, I pay for it and I pay for a lot of things. So, yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. And like, okay, it's spilt paint.
It is what it is.
You know, that old saying, like, you know, don't cry over
milk.
spilled milk.
Yep.
Well, okay, well, don't cry over spilled paint,
paint
because it's not going to magically pick itself back up out of the carpet, which now, luckily, my carpet was gray and the paint was gray.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah, it still fucked it up. But,
no, for sure,
yeah.
for sure.
But, you know, nothing's going to change by having an emotional response.
Nope.
Nothing.
I had it's not anywhere on the same level, but I have, you know, my kids going back and forth between two different households, so she had my phone the other day, which watches Peppa Pig on that all day.
Yeah.
Dropped it and like didn't cry, but like was waiting for me to, I don't know what. She was very worried, and I looked at her and dude, I do a ton of work on my phone. Like my phone will freeze up once a week because it's like, stop, I wasn't made for this.
Yeah,
I do way too much shit on my phone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have like that phone is my life's blood, really. And not like most guys, like, oh, it's on my phone. No, like I'm on my phone and I'm working.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had girls get mad, well, you're on your phone all the
Yeah.
time. I'm fucking making money to pay for the dinner that you're eating.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Trust me, I get that.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So that phone is very important.
Yeah.
But when she dropped it and I saw the look on her face, I realized someone somewhere, she dropped their phone. I don't know who, but it wasn't a good day for her. So I realized, we got to deal with this right now. And I looked at her and she's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you know what? It's just a phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, she was shocked.
Yeah.
She was just like, huh?
Yeah.
And I was like, Chloe, it's just a phone.
Yeah.
And then, like a couple days later, she dropped it legit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
it's just a phone.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah.
Come on.
They're so smart.
They are. But I agree with you. Like, you have to take that emotion out and let them know, like, Look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
And man, we go on tangents.
dude, it's great.
Yeah.
This is good. You have to come back.
Yeah.
You have to come back.
But I guess to get back, to what you had asked, if it's cool,
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell parents it's them. They make things. They're so concerned about protecting their child that they're screwing them over.
Yep.
And because think back to any point in your life, I can almost guarantee you, if I said I want the periods in time that you had the most growth as a person, it was almost always as a result of a challenge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not things were easy, I grew a lot. That never happened.
Those are concurrent.
Yeah.
No.
So it's there was a challenge, and you had to grow as a result.
Absolutely.
And so parents are rushing in to Jimmy has this and he wants to talk to you, but I want to talk to you too. Well, he's 9 years old. He can talk to me.
Yeah. He knows.
Yeah. When you have parents of 16-year-olds having to have conversations with you.
What?
Oh, it happens.
For real?
I mean, look at now in colleges.
Well,
you got parents and this and
that's
that
true.
and stuff like
That's true. It just
they don't let them deal with the problems. And
how are they going to learn to overcome them? They're not.
And like I said, I choose not to have problems.
Challenges. Yep.
Let them deal with it. And again, this is my thing. I want to teach my son.
Yes.
Dude, you don't have problems. You have challenges.
I love that, dude.
Because I love a challenge, and so do you.
Yep.
And if you have challenges,
I'm stealing that. That's
and
great.
your mindset is, fuck, I'm just going to smash this challenge.
Yep.
Look, you're always going to have challenges. Like, people want to live this life of, like, I just want to easy life. Yeah. It's
We're
never
not
going to exist.
Hilton.
And you know
it doesn't
what?
work
By the
that
way, if you didn't have challenges, you would hate your life.
It's true. It's so true.
We can't operate that way.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is bigger and better challenges.
I don't know if I'm there with you
Yeah.
yet. But that's great. Like, I love that mindset of challenges versus problems, where they're just, you wipe the slate clean. There's not a problem.
Yeah.
There's a challenge.
Yeah.
And I've heard it put in a much cheesier fashion before.
Yeah.
But I like that, dude. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. So I hope that answered your question.
It did. Yeah. No, that was a good answer.
And I could go on. I've got so many stories of parents just screwing shit up where I'm like,
I can
and
imagine.
I worry for myself where I'm like, fuck, okay, don't make the same mistakes. And so my son is young still, so I'm not there yet. But all the time, kids are amazing.
They're incredible.
They want to be challenged.
Yep.
They want to live up to a standard. They want to hold themselves accountable.
Yeah.
They want these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the parents almost always that come in because, if my kid fails and they're gonna lose, confidence or this or that. Okay, first off, if they don't do something right the first time and they come back and they do it again, they didn't fail.
No.
Take
learning.
failure out of your vocabulary.
Yeah.
There's some words that I really truly believe that we just shouldn't use with our kids. And I don't like failure.
Yeah.
In that sense of, okay, you're gonna fail. Okay.
Right.
No, you're going to learn. Right. And there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
I hate the word. I hate the word sure.
Okay.
I hate that word. Like, and
It's
this
just
is
too easy,
this
or
is
what?
a new okay. Ask me if I want to go to lunch.
Hey, you want to go lunch?
Sure.
Just
That's like fuck your
lazy?
mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will never say sure to this guy.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, that's what I hear.
How,
Yeah, and I even try,
with
like,
you.
every once in a while,
Yeah.
like,
You'll try it out?
Yeah, like, it'll come out, and I'm like, oh shit, I hate that
said
word.
sure.
But it's not
Is
a
it
yes. It's not.
passive-aggressive?
Yeah. It's nothing. Like, I don't want somebody. If I ask you to do something, sure.
I get it. I see where it's...
Words have power.
They do.
And so the words that we choose to use, for our kids.
Yep.
And this is the thing that I think that I'm working on for myself. Trust me, I am no saint on this. Is the words. I tell my students, monitor your mouth. You know, because that thing. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words. Will never hurt you. Okay. Words hurt.
I'm saying I said that wrong. There's power in the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Words are huge. Look at your Facebook feed. That's all words.
Yeah.
You see people getting all kinds of bent out of shape.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not knocking them either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I've been there. I've had people want to. You see my posts?
Oh yeah.
I've had people want to fight me.
Oh dude, yeah. I love reading this shit. I like to just go in there and be like, I'm so glad he turned it over.
I love it. But like, I get it. Like, I've had people really hurt my feelings before.
Yeah.
I don't show it. I get that they're a troll or whatever they're doing, but like, it really hurts your feelings when someone thinks low of you enough that they would say something derogatory about you.
You know what's funny is, well, I don't even know if it's funny. It's just
odd.
Yeah,
strange.
My thing that I with the words "wanted to your mouth" that I focus on is the most important person that we have to be concerned about with saying bad words to.
Yeah,
is ourselves.
It's true.
And
it's your brain.
Yeah.
You're training. You're doing that training.
Yeah, and so whatever you put into your subconscious, whatever your words, the way you frame yourself, the way you believe on yourself, you will find a way to play that out.
Absolutely.
And so, I tell, screw everyone else. I don't really care about y'all right
no.
now, right? Okay. I mean, I do. I want to help and this and that and stuff, but... okay, but...
Which is it?
Yeah. But at the same point is, I have no business trying to go and do these things if I can't even...
Do it yourself.
Do it myself.
Yeah.
And so, like the whole word things and stuff like that is like words are powerful.
So
the
powerful.
language is powerful, and the words that we use can affect the way things go, our mindset, our perspective, and stuff like that.
It's everything.
Yeah, I hate the word sure. It just sucks. It's a shitty word.
I get it.
Don't say it to people. Like, do you want to do this?
Never
Sure.
say
No,
it again.
fuck your mother. That's what I hear. Is like,
that's awesome, dude.
I hate
That's
it.
awesome.
It really bugs me.
I get it.
Sorry.
You know what? No, don't be. Like, this is really good. We're going to do... I'm going to have you back, and we're going to have a different subject matter, but we're going to talk about entrepreneurship another time.
Cool.
We were going to talk about that tonight, but this has gone all kinds of places. I didn't know it would go. Like, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I'm super happy with this one right now, dude.
Cool.
But I do want to say, with the power of words, and my kid, and we're going to talk about... I want to talk about kids just a little bit, because we kind of segued into that already with the paint.
Yeah.
That's a great story, dude.
Shitty, man.
And now it's out there on the internet forever.
Yeah.
Or it will be.
It's great. Yeah.
When I drop this.
Yeah.
But my child, or I should say our child, however I say it, but Chloe got this she's better now, but she got this thing where she apologized for everything. And I mean, dude, I would be in the kitchen and she would walk past and brush my lip. I'm sorry. And like, the fuck are you sorry for?
Yeah,
what? It just blew my mind for a little bit. And I talked to my therapist and we figured out how to deal with it. But it was just, just kind of knocking it down. Like, no, you don't need to be sorry. It's okay. Like, you're fine. Like, why are you sorry? It's okay. But it's just the power of words and the power of, especially from a parent to a child, the power that your words carry.
Yeah.
And I talked about this on a previous podcast with my buddy Mike. Like, they're gonna hear you curse. It's gonna happen. And then I talked to my therapist about it. She said, and I heard it happened. And I wasn't, the first few times I was really worried about it. And then after a while I was like, it's whatever. And my therapist was like, yeah, but you don't want her cursing at the other kids at daycare. And I was like, shit. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to know the power of words in all forms, whether it's having that shame or that guilt of like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you don't need to be sorry for stuff all the time. Or like, having them hear you curse and then having them repeat it. And I've had it happen where that has been played back to me, like, your child did this. Like, shit.
It's funny because my son, is not even a year old.
He's not repeating your words yet.
He's not, and you could probably tell I don't mind cussing and stuff. I monitor my mouth though.
Yep.
When in
it's
the
your
appropriate
audience.
place. Yeah. So what's my audience?
Know your audience.
And you've got to know your audience. You got to be careful with that. If we're talking, if
I'm home for the holidays, a few things will slip out here and there, but for the most part,
keep it
no fucking words.
PG in your or G in your case.
G. No, actually PG I can get away with
No,
now.
cool.
I'm blessed.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. But shit, man, I don't even know where I'm going with that. Just...
know your audience. Like you got to monitor your mouth, as you said before. But like it's, I don't know. We both lost our train of thought. But like we curse. Like you have a 10-month-old, but he's not there yet.
Yeah, he's not there, and so I kind of run that through my head. It's like, okay, what are my feelings on that?
Yeah.
What are my feelings on my kid cussing?
Yeah.
And this and that, and like so. And again, words have power. Yep. So for example, if you go, you don't want your kid to cuss, right? And there's something really bad in their room, and you hear them go, "Oh fuck." You know it's bad.
You need to get over there.
You need to get over there, right?
Quick.
Yeah. So is that word bad then at that point?
That's
if they
like that perspective,
right? I mean, it's just I was thinking about that as like, okay, wait a minute. If they know that they can use that word, but again, know your audience in the right time.
Yep.
And if oh shit or oh fuck means something like, and that means dad, there is emergency. Yeah. Okay. It's not a bad word then. You know, if there was something so bad at that point that you had to go in there and they said, "Oh fuck," you're not going to lecture your kid after about like you said a bad word. Yeah. Some dude is crawling through the window. Oh fuck, you know.
Now before he gets to the window, we need to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
No, fuck that.
No, yeah. Hold on here. Like you can't say that. I'm sorry. I'm talking to my kid about.
Just hang out on the window. I'll get to you.
Yeah. So, and I'm not there yet. I don't have to deal with it.
Right,
I don't want my kid to cuss all the time and stuff.
No.
But it's funny. I've done a lot of work with
kids.
With kids. I've done a lot of work with people that are super successful millionaires and and stuff, and got to associate with them in different groups and stuff. Tomorrow, my business meeting. It's this guy's amazing. He's up there, and he cusses.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is whoever you are, be that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't do that teaching a kid's class, right?
Yeah,
but if I'm talking to the mom and dad in the office, I'm not going to cuss up a storm again.
But
know my audience.
Okay,
but I'll tell them, hey, look, I'm going to keep it real,
Yeah.
And if something here, if I let a S word or something like that, and people respond and respect that.
They do.
And in the martial arts industry, there's kind of like this thing of like, oh, I'm this perfect person in this and
really?
that, especially in traditional martial arts.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Taekwondo and karate, this and that and stuff, and
it's ancient though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tradition.
And so it's like self-control. Well, just because I said shit doesn't mean I have self-control.
Yeah. There's a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, and so it's funny. I just like my Facebook page. It's my Facebook page.
Yep.
I am who I am. There's things I don't go into because I'm a business owner.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't touch on politics. I don't touch on religion as much. I just leave those alone.
Yep.
I can have my own personal opinions. I just don't put them out there.
Yep.
But as far as I'll post a picture with me and a beer.
Yeah.
If I'm drinking,
you're having a beer. You're having a beer.
If I cuss with my friends, then I'm certainly not going to, monitor, like really worry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now you're just
cussing on social media.
Yeah, so
you're just overthinking it, and it's complicated. It's stupid. I honestly don't like. I'll curse. Everyone's weird. Everyone's got their own weird things. So my weird thing is, sorry,
it's good.
My weird thing is I won't curse. I won't curse in a post. But comments, I'll light it up.
Yeah.
Like in my comments,
right?
I'll curse. I don't know. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Like I won't curse on a post, but in my comments, I'll light it up. Or
Instagram on hashtags.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll
throw them in there. I'll throw them in there.
Yeah.
But my caption, no, it's all pure.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
But I mean, again, everyone has their own thing, and I like what you're saying about knowing your audience. And someone that I'm sure you follow and I follow as well is Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh yeah.
And Gary's very well known in the entrepreneurial world for many things, but definitely for having a filthy mouth.
Oh,
the guy cusses a lot.
Yeah.
And I do know people that they feel like, well, if I cuss, then I'm going to be successful. So I'll cuss. But no.
They do it for the shock factor.
The showmanship, they think like that's cool, and I get it. Like that's fun. Like do your thing.
Yeah.
But that's not how you get successful.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Anyways, aside from that. One interesting takeaway that I've heard from Gary, because you get to see from him, you get to see a lot of the flair and the exciting and all that shit. But he talks about the fact that he's lost money because of his cursing.
Yeah.
There's events that he's been invited to that he won't go because he's, like you said, be yourself. And he's staying true to himself.
Yeah.
I curse. This is just who I am. Well, could you do this keynote for us, but don't curse. I can't do it for you. And it's not like, no, I always curse. It's just like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm starting to turn down the however many grand it is. Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah, in his case, a few $100,000.
Yes.
Maybe
50
grand
to talk for half an hour.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That'll be the day.
Yeah.
But that's just, I like that it's not just the romanticism of it of like, oh, I can curse and I'm a CEO and a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
But I also lose money because of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's because I'm staying true to myself. It's not because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Or because like a bunch of people have ascribed to it. It's because it's who I am.
Yeah.
I like that you said that. Like, that's be who you are.
That's if it's who you are, and again, your audience will dictate that.
It's true.
I like to say shit. I like to say fuck. I'm not going to get out there and teach a kids martial arts class
and be dropping those.
Yeah, that's not appropriate. So I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
But if I'm talking to an adult and stuff like that, and keep it real. If I'm teaching a women's self-defense class, I tell them straight up, I'm going to say some stuff here. Why? Because that's keeping it real.
Yeah. If people respect like
if a guy comes up to you, he's not going to say, oh, hey man, p.m.
do
Can
you
I
mind
do that?
if I-
Like,
yeah.
Get the fuck over here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so do you want me to train you realistically, or you
Or
want
do
me to
like the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to pamper you and fuck that.
That's not gonna help.
Yeah. So
I think we're gonna wrap it up with that, dude.
Cool.
This has been. I honestly thank you. Like for my audience, this guy again, last minute. Not only is it last minute, and we decided this yesterday.
Yeah.
But also he heads out in the morning to Phoenix.
Yeah.
You gotta fly.
No, I'm driving.
Driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like 300 cars, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. but like again, I appreciate you making this a priority.
It was
You
awesome.
didn't have to.
I had fun.
Michael will definitely be back on again. Thank you guys as always for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you again. See ya.